Charles, what foods and diet do you avoid, and what advice do you have for other patients that have FCS?
Of course, the number one thing that you have to avoid is fat. They recommend, or my dietitian recommends, 10 grams or less per day, which is very, very hard to follow sometimes, especially when you try to go out for a business lunch or you try to go socially to someone's house. And also because 12 years ago it threw me into being diabetic, I have to watch sugars and carbs as well. So it's very restrictive. It's not impossible, but I eat totally plant-based. I don't have any meats, proteins. If I eat any kind of egg, it's egg whites. A lot of brown rice, rice bowls, vegetables. Sometimes the biggest challenge is like breakfast, so I'll have like a fat-free yogurt or something in the morning to just get me going. But the challenge is how you don't realize, especially being from the South, a lot of things socially revolve around food. So there's a challenge there because you can't just go to someone's house. You have to explain to them, oh, I'm going to be bringing my own salad dressing, or, how are you going to prepare the food, or, I can't, don't be insulted when I can't eat this. So there's accommodations that you have to make when you do that. But the majority of it's just as much plant-based food as you can eat and as little fat as you can eat. So there's a special oil, MCT oil, that you can use, and I mainly use it just to keep vegetables or whatever from sticking when you cook them. It has a little bit different flavor. You got to get used to it. But there's lots of things out there. Adding a lot of sauces, like mango sauces and stuff like that, to give flavor. That usually comes from fat. So it's just changing the way you cook and changing your attitude about food. If you've eaten a certain way for a long time, it doesn't happen overnight. So don't beat yourself up because it's a gradual, you're just always on a journey to get better.
And that's a very good answer, because I think patients don't realize that frequently they're making a big mistake on getting in a super restricted diet when there's so many other things that you can eat. So the point that you brought up on working with a dietitian, it's extremely important, because that would open the amount of things that you thought you couldn't eat, but you can actually go ahead and eat it. And it's actually good for you.
Well, and before I was diagnosed, you know your body. You feel the onset of pancreatitis coming on. So what I would do is just stop eating completely. Because you start to associate, if I eat this, then I'm going to get pain. And pain and food start, so it's just like I'll just avoid food totally, which is a huge mistake. Just drinking water, or just, I would go 4 or 5 days and just drink water. Now, I found there's an alternative to that. And that caused some anemia in my blood and some other problems for me, and now I'm on a much healthier position moving forward in dealing with FCS.